Hi, I'm Sally-Shakti and I am here with Anna Lloyd.
Hello.
We both live here at Osho Leela, and today we're going to have a chat with each other and with you about light language. So I work a lot with words and language, and I'm fascinated by the idea of light language. So before we get started, I'm going to invite Anna to light a candle and set the space for us.
Always nice to invite some fire. Yeah. Bring some light to the space, and yeah, if there's anything that we're releasing that helps us burn it up.
Yes. Thank you, love. So I want to start the conversation, and it goes like this. On the first day that I arrived here and I met you, you kind of were making these crazy sounds down in the kitchen, and I instantly recognized it, and I said, "You're speaking light language." And like I recognized those sounds from another light language speaker that I know and connect with. So, but that, I don't know very much about it. My own practice is very early stages. So I'd like to hear from you a little bit about your experience with light language and how that comes through for you.
Oh, well, this is really lovely, a chance to share how it's kind of been, because it's definitely something that's can be a bit strange for a person to experience. So maybe for other people to hear it, but also for the person that is experiencing it, it's kind of it's a relaxation of who I am as Anna, and allowing to be quite free with my expression, with the expression that passes through me. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. And I had an experience from being super obsessed with Vipassana. I was like really obsessed with meditation, and I perceived an energy coming into my body. It felt very loving and very safe, and the overwhelming feeling of I'm going to be okay, everything's going to be okay. It was really lovely, like very optimistic. So over time, my body was kind of unraveling. Couldn't get to sleep at night because it was like doing some strange movements. But this was all really like my trauma releasing. And it was all like the tightness of all my muscles in my body that were kind of like holding me like that, or keeping me safe, but like keeping me small and safe and contracted, were kind of starting to like unravel.
I feel that.
Yeah. And that also can be quite a strange feeling for a person, because you have to really trust that the body is doing something that you might not be used to. So it's kind of similar quality to the light language. So I think I was at home unraveling a bit, doing some Tai Chi, and then some sounds started coming out, and then they started coming out a lot more freely and sounding almost like either Chinese. It started with kind of Chinese, and then perceiving that there was a kind of loving being helping me out or talking through me. And yes, and then there was like a more masculine male Native American voice that kind of started to pass through me. And I guess I just did it on my own for a long time, and it just felt very natural. It felt very rich and warm and from the center of my body, and not really much to do with me as Anna, but something dense and thick and beautiful coming through me. And that's the best that I can describe it.
I've got so many questions. Thank you. I just want to put some context with a quick question. How long ago was this? Did that start?
It's funny, I've been saying like 3 years ago for about 10 years. It's about, when I look, it was about 2017. So how long?
That's 5 years ago now.
Yeah. So I'd say about 4, because I was obsessive with the Vipassana for about a year and a half. So about 3-4 years ago. And I think it was from a deep dive into committing to meditation and turning against my old life. Yeah. So yeah, it was interesting.
Thank you. So the course I want to follow with this conversation is going to be around kind of language and languagey themes. And you mentioned your body unraveling a lot of trauma. You used the word unraveling a few times. And I'm curious as well to know whether you felt that you particularly had a lot of trauma around your throat that was being released. If there was some, my idea about this is that maybe there's some for me, maybe it has been some blocks in the throat chakra, the throat area, that would prevent light language coming through, and that maybe they get released, and that opens us more to the experience.
I guess what I'd say to that is making those sounds resonates with the whole of the body, and opens up everything, I'd say. So actually making the sound would be really opening the throat. And I can hear my throat now, and that's from like shouting in meditation as well. Lovingly. And yeah, so I'd say like the power of the voice is like huge, like massive. So yeah, like the communication, like with the hearing and the speaking, and like hearing above as well, so listening to your intuition, and then also like speaking of the light language, it's kind of like opening up all this area, and that kind of ricochets or like ripples out into the rest of the body. I guess that's what.
And so do you hear it and then speak it, or is it just coming through like simultaneously?
That's a really great question. So I'd say
spontaneous.
I feel it, actually. I feel this tickly like excitement in my belly. And then I think it moves to my chest, and then like sometimes when I'm with clients and I'm not sure if they would be into the light language, when I first started, I'd kind of like hold it back and just use breath. But now I kind of feel an excitement in my body, and then it'll come up and it'll be kind of like, oh, I have to speak it, kind of thing.
Oh, I love that, because I guess my initial perception was that light language was something that comes down from up here, and probably it is in some ways, but I work with language as an embodied practice. It's using the materials of the language that I know, which is English, to create an embodied, visceral, rhythmic experience, and that's something really embodied that you've just described to me. You actually said it, coming up through your body from this really visceral sensation. So that's something really interesting to me.
Yeah, and it's a really good question, because I'd imagine that I'd feel it from above coming in, because I guess it's almost like beings. People perceive it as beings talking through you, but that's my experience. So maybe people do have it from above, maybe. And I guess in what you're saying as well, like that time I read your work and you were describing someone's business, and I could feel the energy of what you were trying to pass over really fully, and it was almost like I didn't really need to read the words exactly. It was like I could. So I perceive that you're really good at collecting the energy of what the person wants to put across with their business, and then you do put it into words, but you kind of encapsulate the energy, the whole holistic, full energy, so people can feel it, as opposed to just like, oh, these are some words.
That's such a spontaneous affirmation. Thank you, because that's what I go around saying that I do, and it's like it's so good to actually hear your experience of that and say, yes, this is what happened for you in your physically embodied and energetic experience. That's my experience of what I do. It's like, yeah, the words are there, but the words are a holding structure for the energy. The words are like, I've spoken about it before, it's like the words are like the mandala, you know, they're the form, the energetic form that's actually holding and creating that vortex of energy.
Yeah. It's kind of almost a bit like next level kind of communication. It's like a full picture as opposed to just flat words. I guess that's the best way I could.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank
you. I didn't know we were going to go there. Thank you. I have one more question about light language. So yesterday at Osho Lila, we did a meditation in the evening called the gibberish meditation. It's an Osho meditation, and you literally kind of make sounds which are at the beginning they played this clip of Osho. He said a few things to introduce it, and he says the last line he says, which I remembered and wrote down, was let go of the language mind, which I love. Language ties us up in so many knots. The thinking mind will, in my experience, continually try to perpetuate itself through language and through problem creating rather than problem solving. So he said, let go of the language mind. And then the invitation is to kind of to use our mouths and our bodies to create gibberish sounds. So I'll just give a quick example. How I kind of do it is like, for example.
Yeah, and that takes guts to do that, you know, especially on camera.
Thank you. And I've had a conversation with a couple of people in the community about that practice, and my sensation of that is that the mouth structure creates the like the consonants, the holding structure. The vowel sounds will come out through the breath, and then what I'm doing with my mouth creates the consonant structure of like the physicality of the container for those words. And you know, I explore this kind of thing through my own writing and poetry. And I'm wondering, I was really curious in the meditation yesterday, like, are you going to speak light language, or are you just going to like, does it take a different part of the brain for that to come through or not? And what's your experience with kind of, you know, how that comes through physically through your mouth?
This is awesome. So recently I have been like kind of playing with what is Anna and what is energetically passing through me, I guess. I could say guides, yeah, so I can say guides as well. And so yesterday I think I was playing more with Anna, and I was using so it has a different feeling, it's got a different quality. It's like I'm making the sound, so I think I was but that so in the case of yesterday, I was very much trying to be Anna, making some sounds, maybe a bit. So recently I've been quite teenagery and quite rebellious and being like, I'm going to eat loads of cake if I want to. So I think yesterday I was feeling like, I'm going to make Anna sounds because I'm Anna and I'm going to do that. And so it wasn't quite so light languagey. But just then when I tried to do it, it was very like light languagey. And so it almost feels like two different energies in a way. And one is controlled and quite like it's quite frustrated, and then the other is this free quality that's very playful and almost purposeless in a way, like a kind of like I'm just doing what I want, like, or what I want whatever spirit wants is doing through me. It's a bit different to me kind of choosing the sounds.
So I'm guessing that the controlled version is that Anna, like, I'm just going to do this.
Yeah.
And then there's this other flow of a different energy coming through.
Yeah, it feels completely different, if I'm honest. Yeah. And I guess if people wanted to practice it, or I don't know if practice is the word, but like people wanted to explore it for themselves, they'd probably maybe try some meditation and then drop their serious self, and maybe with a friend that's open to making some silly sounds. Silly, when I say silly, just some free sounds, and just seeing what it feels like. And then I guess you can, there may be a moment where you notice a different quality of energy, which is richer, more pure. That's the best I can say. But this is my perception of it, and that's just me, what I feel.
And when you just, said silly sounds then, and I want to go back to that Osho quote, letting go of the language mind, because it's the language mind that's critical and judgmental and says, oh, that's not, those are just silly sounds, we have judgment about them. But that's, for me, that's coming from the ego mind, which is the mind that has created the language that we currently speak.
Oh, so these are good serious sounds and they make sense.
To some other part of us. So we have cake soon, so we're not going to be here too much longer, but I would like to finish, if you'd like to make some sounds, and then I'm going to also offer to vocally tone with you if that harmonizes.
Okay, wow.
Shall we try that? The way that I do a little bit of light language is, mine actually does tend very much to come up from the earth, and that's the easiest one for me to access, so that's probably where I'll go. And then we can kind of layer over each other if that feels right.
Wow. Oh no. Okay,
all right, you've shifted positions, so let's
I guess getting my system in a straight line probably helps. Aligning my body.
And then I will ding the sound bowl at the end of our session, and then I'll probably we'll just sort of finish the recording there.
We might drop down low and crawl out for cake.
Anna's already gone. All right, thank you, love.
Okay.
And thanks everyone for being
here. Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's lovely. Malay sipu malatia la isikula maitia kawa. Ba le. Malaysia, suku Malaysia, Kela Malaysia, Ma Kecil Malay, Bela Malaysia, Kau Malaya. Hawaii, Kua, Kapua, Itua, Le Malaysia, Kua, Semala Malaysia, Malama. Là mày mà cái là mày chỉ cái là mày chỉ cũng một là này kia mà là yêu mày chỉ cái là chỉ cái mà là gì ít chịu cái mà bị lêu mà quá trẻ
Hope you can feel how juicy that is. Love you.
Love you.